Hey man, look, you can keep your content, all of it. We won't touch none of your workout videos. We won't touch none of your shorts, your funny videos, none of that at all. But if you say anything that's against what the government wants, man, we're gonna put you down. So, hey, what's it gonna be? And we got a very important topic to talk about. That is, obviously, you guys probably heard every Canadian YouTuber talk about the Bill C. What does that even mean? So I did my research because I'm like, before I jump on a topic, let me just actually see what this is all about. All right, I'll boot. So give me a little background of like, I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna bastardize the history of why this is this all came about. Your mainstream media in Canada, since around 2008, has lost a ton of everything, views, everything, but it just went. Right, YouTube and all of the platforms, whoop, they have basically taken everything. They made it, they've made it more attractive, right? Like everybody's watching more so like Netflix and Crave and Prime and whatever. They're watching all those things more than their actual than your regular cable television. So in Canada here, when you have like big companies that are not Canadian owned, like Netflix, Crave, Prime, whatever, your bigger mainstream media platforms on here, like Bell Can, which is like our biggest basic media we have out there, our cable television, whatnot, they take a big hit. So that one of the reasons is like, hey man, we need to get Canadian TV back up to snuff because we're losing a lot of money and we gotta do these bills and stuff to get loans from the government to keep our business afloat, basically. Apart from that, the last everyone's seen the last 2 years ish with all everything that's been going on social media. Basically the issue is the censorship, right? So after obviously the vid with the election and all the January 6th and blah, 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 Canadian mainstream is really worried about people's ability to just kind of talk about anything they want to unregulated. Because if you're doing a so-called Canadian content, there's a bunch of things that you have that are like, you gotta check one after the other that make sure that is actually Canadian content. That's basically it. And basically they see stuff like YouTube as this unregulated platform that's just putting out news that's more popular than the mainstream news, but it's news that's not regulated. So anybody and their mother can come out here and say whatever they want about whatever topic there is. And because of how things have been in the last couple years with everything, I hate even saying, let's put it this way, let's put it on this one capsule. Everything political that has happened in the last X amount of years, 2 years, 2 to 4 years, has basically hit our mainstream media and our government pretty badly, right? So they're like, hey, we gotta censor this shit because we can't, number one, have anyone, kind of giving their opinion about whatever that might not be agreeable with Parliament, with those people on that legislation or whatever that are making the rules for this Bill C, right? Basically it. The government's like, hey, I don't want you saying stuff that doesn't agree with me, and I'm going to cancel it on you. And that's one thing there. The other thing is basically we need to make sure that we can keep and salvage the traditions of the Canadian culture in media. So what does that look like for me? I don't know because it comes down to one thing. Come on this. Here's what I'm thinking about, right? I think any channel out there that's probably really as a whole, I can say it, and I'm probably everyone's gonna be like, oh, it's for everybody. I know everyone's going to get affected. I know that for a fact. If this goes through, we are all going to get affected. But who's gonna really get affected? So if someone's like, hey man, if I'm on here, and basically how the algorithm works, anyways, like when you guys, just like if you guys look on Facebook and all on your platforms and go in your settings and check the actual off-screen monitoring that's actually going on, you guys like, the government's watching me. Oh my god, it's the whatever, the towers and stuff. They know what they're trying to. It's like, no, it's like when you get to buy an iPhone or anything and you click, you just kind of you're like, frick this, I want my phone. You say accept everything. You basically zip over the part where it gives them rights to kind of track what you're doing while you're not even using your phone. So they're literally tracking your tendencies. So they basically send all the stuff to you that you're interested in based on how you, basically search things. I know sometimes you probably never search anything ever. And you're like, man, I just talked about, I don't know. Then all of a sudden I go on my topic, I go on my phone and there it is. Yeah, they know everything, right? So that's basically how an algorithm works on YouTube, right? It's like, it says, you go on there, you look up, let's say I look up how to do a push-up. How to do a push-up, blah, blah, blah. Click on it and a bunch of how to push-up things come up. If you go to do that again and Bill C is passed, let's say Bill C passes, you go, how to look at push-up. It's not gonna make you not be able to see push-ups. The biggest thing about this is it's a censoring platforms or censoring voices that want to be able to say. It's basically taking away free speech. Free speech. So basically, like, if I talk about like so even on Instagram, on YouTube, if I talk about anything like racist or whatever that's kind of like touchy, that's not necessarily like, it might be a little faux pas to talk about, I'll have like, I'll be partially monetized. Like, it might not be as fruitful as a video that has zero type of drama or offensive nature, and it's just clean and cut. If I talk about something that's very touchy, like ED, abuse or whatever, the vid or whatever, and if I have opposing views, strong views about certain things, and they'll kind of regulate those things being thrown out here and there, right? If my channel is like, if I'm like, hey, today, I put out, coaching up, most time on Tuesdays and Thursdays, whatever, coaching up, and I decide, hey, something happened in the politics today, and I really don't like it. I'm gonna talk about it. I don't like this stuff, so I'm gonna put on what I don't like about what's going on in the Canadian government. Bill C's passed. I put out my coaching up goals, because we're talking about freaking doing bicep curls, how to do them properly, and my opposing views on how the government talks about censorship in Canada probably doesn't get shown, right? I think I'm not downplaying this at all. I'm just trying to make it clear for everyone, because everyone's kind of like, not everyone, most people are being like, my channel is screwed now because if Bill C gets passed, they're gonna make me make only Canadian content. So I gotta do a lot of history exams again and find out what Canada's all about, so I can all about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not to that level, but it's still scary in the fact that they can regulate what you see, what you create. They basically almost force you to, like, hey man, make some content that isn't gonna go against our views and doesn't take away from our views, basically. Right? That's what they want to happen. They want to regulate things. And like, I'm an actor, and I'm in part of the actor union. I'm part of the Maritime Actor Guild, right? So the Maritimes here, Nova Scotia, whatever, I think Nova Scotia, or Canada, Canadian content, I think it was. Canadian film just got a huge amount of money to keep making movies in Canada, which is a absolutely amazing thing, right? A lot of you guys don't know that there's a lot of movies that you guys see that are all in Canada. Toronto, Vancouver look like a lot of American cities, so there's a lot of movies that you've seen. Batman, The Dark Knight, Deadpool. Half of these movies are made here in Canada. Half of, like, majority of ones you think, they're all made here in Canada. Right? Nova Scotia is a great place that kind of looks like a lot of old school places and has a lot of rural areas and stuff like that. So they shoot a lot of movies here. So that part is really good, where we're actually getting more movies in Canada. So there's a good part about this, and then there's a very ugly part about this. And the very ugly part about this is the fact that they are regulating, this Bill C will regulate what you put out. From what I'm believing and talking to a lot of people and watching a lot of videos before I put this whole thing out, because Bill C has been something in the past that's been talked about since last year when it was Bill C-10, and C-10 wasn't. It was basically got washed away because it was like, not a chance, right? I did my research. From what I know, is this. I'm a Canadian, and I put out, like, if you look at my channel, if you look at what I put out on my channel here, right? I put out majority training videos. That's it. Last video, common shoulder training mistakes. Never do this arm exercise. EDC Las Vegas. Hey, down the road, maybe that might not be seen. Maybe my experience in Las Vegas promoting an American something, this might not be Canadian enough for me. Or, being devil's advocate, maybe me showing Canadian content not in Canada will be against me. Maybe every time I make a trip to the States and do a video, maybe that video doesn't get passed. I don't know. But I'm kind of doubting that they're going to censor people putting out, like, let's just put it this way, do it yourself at home. How do you knit? All right, how do I knit a sweater? Is a person out there who has a channel that prioritizes how to make or teach you how to knit sweaters is going to get shut down because of Bill C? Bill C-11, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that at all. I think more so this Bill C is basically to get more views on mainstream TV from those, like, platforms like, Prime and Netflix and Crave and things that aren't Canadian based. And then if you put out content that's against, the government, if government says A and you don't agree with the government, the government will be like, hey, guess what, bro? You ain't gonna that's gonna get down to the watch list at the back of the list. You're not gonna be on the main explore page or the watch next. Nah, you're gonna be somewhere in the back, somewhere with someone else's opinion. And that's what I see this thing being, right? Am I worried about this? No, I'm not, because nothing's happened yet, so I'm not going to sit in the moment now and worry about then. What I can do now is just give you the link in the description below that you guys can click on, and as well as me, and that's what we can do is make sure, because I put it this way, I don't really care if my channel isn't touched whatsoever. If they're like, hey guys, check it out, man. If they came up to me like, like one of those like kind of like, devils in the side, and like, hey man, look, you can keep your content, all of it. We won't touch none of your workout videos. We won't touch none of your shorts, your funny videos, none of that at all. But if you say anything that's against what the government wants, man, we're going to put you down. So, hey, what's it going to be? I'm still going to be like, no, it's bullshit. Like, I don't agree with it. I don't. Are there channels out there that are putting out fake ass news? 100%. But everybody has a right to put out whatever they want because it's supposed to be a free democracy. It's supposed to have freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Freedom. There's so many levels with freedom of speech. You know what I mean? Like they never should have said freedom of speech. They should have said freedom to be able to say what you want, but better watch what you say, type thing, right? You know what I mean? So I'll do my part, obviously, because I want people to have a voice and be able to say. There might be things that even Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Maybe it's like I can be like, hey man, my video I put up Amber and Johnny Depp. Maybe you guys don't see it. Maybe on the algorithm it's like, hey man, that ain't Canadian. Johnny Depp ain't Canada. Get your ass out of here. I know, what I'm saying? Like, point is, make sure you guys click in that link below. Hit that. It's a little form you can fill out, automated. Basically, put your name in there, fill it out, get in there, fill it out for us. Keep Canadian content uncensored. Keep Canadian content free. Support us, guys. We love you. Hey, to be honest, like 6% of my viewers are Canadian. Like to be honest, for me, it's like, hey, is this gonna change and make me have more views in Canada? Because it's kind of crazy how like people think that I am not even from Canada. I'll go down the street and be like, man, Johnny, man, you here? What you down for a training camp? It's like, nah, dude, I live around the corner. I'm from here. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if the Bill C is gonna give me more views from Canada, cool. But if it's still got the censorship on there, I can't be with it. That ain't me. Some people need to shut their mouths. All right, I believe some people just shut up. But I believe that they can say what they want. Anyway, right? Freedom of speech. Anyway, guys, hit the description below. Please help us out. I'm not gonna do the outro thing, but guys, you know what? Keep Canadian content uncensored. Keep Canadian content creators free. Help us out. We love you. From your international brother, John Ashivi's out. Actually, add me on Instagram and TikTok, guys. Send me your progress pics, your training clips, and your video clips, and I'll repost it for you. Because you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.